The film begins involved in an African desolate tract. Following an antique railway track, the Queen and her family are on a comfortable educate trip via the enormous Golden Sands. Their carriage holds a valuable crown, prompting the Queen to educate her guards to attract the curtains. They guarantee her they're in the center of the desolate tract without a one around. However, she insists on maintaining the crown hidden, even from above. This is whilst Mr. A makes a dramatic front with the aid of using skydiving over the desolate tract. His goal is the educate wearing the Queen and her crown. Meanwhile, the Queen performs cover and are seeking together along with her grandchildren. Her security lets in her into the main carriage wherein the tiara is stored. To their surprise, the Queen quickly attempts to re-input the carriage. Still engaged with inside the game, the guards quickly realize that the person they to begin with permitted was an imposter disguised as the Queen. They rush into the carriage. Simplest to locate the crown changed with the letter A. Meanwhile, Mr. Ray discards his disguise above the educate and prepares to escape. Confronted with the aid of using the guards, he effortlessly evades their bullets. Using his notable combat skills, he fights them off till the last defend hooks him to the educate with an arrow. Utilizing his superior gear, Mr. Ray leaps from the educate and glides via the sand usage of the hook. The shield fires at him. However, Mr. A dodges the bullets and surprises him with the aid of using getting returned on the train. Mr. Ray then overpowers him and kicks him off the train earlier than creating a dramatic escape. The scene shifts to a set of neighborhood drug sellers awaiting their supply. Ollie arrives with a briefcase complete of drugs, his anxious demeanor raising suspicions. They permit him leave. However, he drops his ID card. One provider reveals the ID, whilst another discovers a transmitter and the drug shipment, exposing Ali as an undercover cop. He is held at gunpoint till his superior, Officer Jai, arrives and arrests the sellers. Later, we meet Officer Shonali, Jai's former classmate, assigned to research Mr. A's case. During a briefing, she reveals Mr. A is a brilliant thief who steals uncommon artifacts worldwide. His high-quality heists encompass a jewel from London, a portrait from Paris, and a necklace from Istanbul. Shonali explains that Mr. A is also a professional artist who creates his disguises and leaves the preliminary at every crime scene. Hearing this, Jai identifies the pattern in Mr. A's robberies and briefs his team. Determined to trap the thief, Jai prepares with detailed statistics and a successful team. Meanwhile, Mr. Ray designs devices for his subsequent heist. On the day of the heist, Jai speculates that Mr. Ray will go one in every of museums conserving priceless diamonds and historical necklaces. He tightens protection at each locations, making sure the thief has no hazard to escape. Meanwhile, Mr. A dives right into a canal and cuts through the museum's toilet floor. Unnoticed, he profits access and covers himself in white paint. By the time the police arrive, Mr. Ray has disguised himself as a marble statue, blending seamlessly into the exhibit. He then brings out a remote-managed automobile he designed and makes use of a stay feed from its digital digicam to navigate it stealthily through the museum. The automobile reaches the primary safe and correctly steals the diamond. Mr. A makes use of his pre-mounted projector to create the phantasm that the diamond is still secure. He then waits for the proper second to make his breakout. Elsewhere, Jai anxiously awaits Mr. A's pass on the jewelry exhibition inside the museum. He discovers that the museum's most treasured necklace is flawed. Knowing Mr. A's choice for perfect items, Jai realizes Mr. A's genuine goal is the diamond in the alternative museum. Jai at once sends police reinforcements to that vicinity and calls Ollie to live alert. While at the phone, Ollie by chance bumps into an aged guy and apologizes. This vintage guy is simply Mr. Ray in disguise. Jai overhears their communique and instructs Ollie to arrest the person. It's found out that all museum team of workers were given depart that day. Ollie stops the vintage guy to test his ID and the person fingers him a card. Ollie is perplexed as there may be no call at the front. The vintage guy calmly says his call is at the back. Ollie flips it over and sees Mr. Ray's signature. Before the police can react, Mr. Ray escapes through a manhole and vanishes. Jai and Ollie strive their fine to capture him, However, Mr. A makes use of his cunning approaches to break out as soon as again. Later, Mr. A seems on the airport in every other disguise. The media reviews his subsequent target, a valuable antique sword. The subsequent day, Jai and his group arrive at the palace and closely guard the area. Mr. A unearths a trade route inside, however encounters every other thief seeking to thieve the sword. He warns the thief now no longer to touch it, and famous that the sword is surrounded via way of means of invisible lasers that cause alarms and electric shocks. In a formidable move, Mr. A tosses a coin in the direction of the laser, putting off the alarm. The guards rush in only as the electrical shocks activate, incapacitating them. The different thief seizes the possibility to escape with the sword, leaving in the back of Mr. A's signature. Enraged, Mr. A chases the thief. However, Shonali intervenes and holds the imposter at gunpoint. Mr. A arrives simply in time to disarm Shonali and rescues the imposter. Shonali and Jai are left annoyed as Mr. A escapes as soon as more. Reaching their exit, the different thief gets rid of the mask, revealing herself as a younger girl named Sunarai. Sunarai, partial to Mr. A, attempted to thieve the sword to satisfy him. She persuades Mr. A to form an alliance. However, he first of all declines and leaves with the sword. Later, Mr. A observes Sunarai and procedures her uncover. Impressed via way of means of her determination, he consents to take her on as his partner. A few days later, Sunarai meets Jai at a film theater. It's found out she has been undercover for the police from the start. Caught in the course of the robbery, Jai allows her pass while she promised to assist seize Mr. A. Shortly after, Mr. A arrives at the theater in cover to satisfy Sunarai. He offers her a passport and tickets for his or her subsequent heist in Rio. Jai, hiding nearby, overhears their conversation, while Mr. A stays unaware. Following this, Mr. A and Sunarai arrive in Rio, wherein Jai and Ali additionally become as a part of the plan. It's found out that the officials will stay with Shonali's twin sister, Monali, who lives there. Meanwhile, Mr. A begins evolve trusting Sunarai, and he or she reciprocates. He in the end meets her without any conceal and well-known chose his name, Aryan. He then asks if she trusts him, and he or she confirms wholeheartedly. Shockingly, Aryan demanding situations her to jump off a cliff, and he or she is of the same opinion without hesitation. He follows her with a cable connected for safety. This turned into a take a look at of her agree with, and he or she earns extra of Aryan's agree with. The subsequent day, Aryan goes for a stroll and conceal and all at once runs into Jai. Though strangers, they strike up a verbal exchange upon coming across their each Indian. Both fabricate stories. Jai pretends to be a writer, even as Aryan claims he collects cash. Just then, Sunarai calls Aryan and informs him she'll be away for some hours. She then contacts Jai and arranges to fulfill him. Sunarai later well-known shows Jai that she has won enough of Aryan's agree with to see his actual identity. Jai reminds her he is based on her, and he or she assures him she will assist seize Aryan. Later, Aryan takes Sunarai to a museum to finalize their plan. He well-known shows their target, a group of historic cash worth about $18 million. After planning, Sunarai heads to a celebration in which she discreetly meets Jai and discloses Aryan's plan. Jai offers her a device to alert the police as soon as they may be inside the museum. Unbeknownst to them, Aryan is looking them, disguised. He realizes Sunarai and Jai were operating collectively all along, feeling deeply disappointed, as he virtually had emotions for her. The subsequent evening, Sunarai seems anxious around Aryan. He suddenly asks how she could experience if he have been to die the following day, and confesses he feels fearful about the imminent robbery. His indistinct phrases go away, Sunarai sensing he is aware of extra than he is letting on. Later, Aryan and Sunarai visit a celebration in which Jai is present. Aryan appears without hide and meets Jai face to face. They acknowledge every other's true identities, Aryan as Mr. A, and Jai because the officer pursuing him. However, Jai doesn't arrest Aryan immediately, making plans to seize him with inside the act instead. The subsequent morning, Aryan confronts Sunarai, annoying she confessed the truth. She admits taking part with Jai, however pleads for Aryan's trust. In response, he demanding situations her to a recreation of Russian roulette. Tsunorai nervously agrees, decided to regain his trust. They take turns pulling the cause till best one bullet remains. The gun finally ends up in Tsunorai's hands, leaving Arian to face the very last second of truth. She tearfully confesses she deceived him, and accepts she merits punishment. Tsunorai then confesses her love for Arian, and fast pulls the cause on herself. Here comes the twist. The revolver clicks empty. Arian had never loaded it with a bullet. Arian realizes her sincerity, and they percentage a passionate kiss. Following this, Ali and Jai protect a series of cash on the museum. Arian and Tsunorai cleverly infiltrate the crowd and hide as dwarves. Arian releases spiders, some of the children inside the museum, causing chaos and permitting them to steal the cash without detection. Immediately after, Jai rushes to the condominium wherein Arian had been staying, best to discover it empty. He then gets a name from Tsunorai, who well-known shows she has chosen to face through Arian. The police fast release a seek operation to arrest them. Soon after, Ali and Jai spot the foxy thieves fleeing on a motorcycle. A high-velocity chase ensues. Main Arian and Tsunorai to cut up to keep away from being captured. Jai subsequently catches as much as Arian, who refuses to surrender no matter a fierce struggle. In the midst in their confrontation, Ali arrives at the scene, aiming his gun at Tsunorai. Arian unearths himself in a desperate situation, torn among heading off arrest and making sure Tsunorai's safety. Arian all of a sudden asks Ali and Jai if all people has ever loved a person sufficient to kill them. His phrases confuse Ali and Jai, however Tsunorai is familiar with and shoots Arian, inflicting him to fall off the cliff. Jai makes a decision to spare Tsunorai from imprisonment, coldly mentioning that her punishment is residing with the guilt of killing her beloved. The scene shifts to 6 months later. Tsunorai now manages a small eating place, satisfied and far from crime. Moments later, Arian seems on the same eating place, and they are nonetheless deeply in love. It seems that they'd staged his dying to depart their existence of crime and begin anew. Officer Jai then arrives on the eating place to confront them. He likely knew Arian change into alive, however allow him disappear to arrest him later. Arian explains he has genuinely modified and wishes to stay a non-violent existence with Tsunorai. He arms overall incriminating proof to Jai. Impressed through Arian's transformation and honesty, Jai makes a decision now no longer to arrest him and offers them a risk to stay a brand new existence. Jai accepts the proof and gives his benefits for his or her future. The film ends with Jai leaving the eating place. Content material that Arian and Tsunorai are ultimately free from their beyond sins. Well, it is the quid of this recap. How did you want it? Let me understand your mind as comments. Also, consider subscribing this channel for more exciting film and series recaps. See you in the following video. Bye bye.